on the last episode of the Shaka 41 and the Million.
Here's what that is. The demise of black media, mine. They're shutting down the black news channel, BNC. It's shutting down after originally launching in 2020 and filed bankruptcy on Saturday, March 26. Billionaire Shad Khan owns the Jacksonville Jaguars. He was the majority stakeholder and no longer wanted to invest. Didn't even give these people a severance package. Didn't even give them their last paycheck. Say he didn't want to put in any more money. He had invested $50 million, but said the audience and revenues failed to meet the company's hefty cost structure. So he couldn't keep throwing money at an operation. 230 employees, mostly folks of color. Now, the CEO and former CNN executive Priscilla Hare joined the operation last year and sent an email out to the staff on midday Friday. So they had a lot of challenging market conditions and global financial pressures, and they weren't able to meet their financial goals. It's sad. It's just sad. Now, I didn't really watch BNC because they're not, I don't know, they're not targeting me. I'm not their target audience. I'm more of a grassroots black news guy. What does that mean? I want to hear you talk about black issues. They would be on here talking about black and brown people. Well, you're the black news channel. You don't see Telemundo over there talking about Juneteenth, do you? And that's black folks' problems. You want to include everybody, man. And that's not how it goes. It's not how it goes. It's supposed to be focused on serving black viewers. Again, they ceased operation on last Friday. I say some of the journalists had left careers at established media organizations to join the startup. Mark Lamont Hill was one. Say that their hearts and souls go out to the people who lost their jobs. That's what Roland Martin be trying to get on. You ever notice that when Roland Martin talks to you as a black person, you're stupid, it's all kind of profanity and whatnot, but when he's talking to them white folk trying to get a check, he knows how to talk real civilly. Okay. Where's the black media? Where's our black media? The man didn't want to fund it anymore, so it was a losing effort. I can understand that. Now, here's a little sound bite about the demise of black media, real quick.
I'm very sad to see the demise of black radio. It's terrible what's happening. The demise of black radio is insane. It's just, killing everybody, killing everything off, killing all of our stuff. BET sold to Viacom years ago. Essence magazine, our media, sold to somebody else in the hands of other people. Sold, it's amazing. What's happening with our media? We've lost control of our music. We've lost control of our creativity in our music. We've lost control of our TV shows. We've lost control of our radio stations. I don't understand why we've lost control of our creativity, of our media, of our music, of our news, which news is a source of main information to keep the people aware of what's happening. So you cut our voices. Why? The thing is that behooves me is how we allow this to happen. So what's the strategy? I'm venting. I'm talking about it. What's the strategy? What is the strategy so this doesn't happen to us anymore? Is it independent radio? is that, I guess that's the wave of the future anyway. Everybody's going internet.
Yeah, that young lady just broke it down. Now, they say that some people remember, well, in a world where events, issues, policies, and histories impacting black people were rarely acknowledged or reported by the mainstream media. In New York, if it happened above 96th Street, it wasn't news. Now, with the emergence of the internet, as legacy media, newspaper, magazines, radio, and television news were joined by newer platforms and social media, there were always space to cover disasters like Hurricane Katrina, as well as enduring environmental, racial, and social injustice. But the space for black media is shrinking, with Black News Channel filing for bankruptcy is just the latest and most ominous example. Where is our black media? Today, our black media is on the internet. And again, black folks' worst enemy is black folks. You're on here trying to fight for them. I remember back in the day, there used to be people say, I don't want to hear about that black stuff, until something happened to them and theirs. Now all of a sudden you want everybody to rally around you. Well, sweetie, that's black stuff that you weren't interested in. Now, I said newsrooms across the country are experiencing layoffs at an alarming rate. In 2019, the media shed over 7,800 jobs. The number of black journalists and reporters in newsrooms has also been impacted, with the number of black journalists working at daily newspapers dropping by 40% since 1997. We don't get to tell our narrative, and that's where the black on black crime thing comes from. There's Asian on Asian crime. There's white on white crime. There's Hispanic on Hispanic crime. Again, crime is predicated on proximity. Now, Pookie shot Ray Ray, but the white boy shot up everybody in the house, or everybody at the school, or everybody at the movie theater. We don't discuss that. Isn't Russia and Ukraine white on white crime? Say the industry is reaching a point of no return. You know? And it's sad. Now, I have this little article here. It says a third of black adults trust information from local news organizations. That for local news, 33% of black people trust it, 27% of whites, and 28% of Hispanics trust the local news. With national news, 23% of blacks, 20% white, 24% of Hispanics trust the national news. It's just sad. Now, alongside of downsizing and retracting print editions, examples like the Amsterdam News showed a 21% drop in circulation from 2014 to 2015. The Chicago Defender, another black news publication, their circulation fell by 18% in 2015. Not only are black communities losing their news outlets, black perspectives across the news industry are losing the spaces to voice their opinion. Black media, well, media in general, black radio particularly, you're supposed to keep the community informed on what's going on. Do we do that on black radio stations? Where's the news? When BET was sold, they got rid of Jack A. Reed and Ed Gordon. First thing they got rid of was the news. Frederick Douglass once said, once you learn to read, you will be forever free. It's sad. How many black radio stations do you think there are in the U.S.? Black owned. Here in Dallas, Fort Worth, there's a very popular station called KKDA, K104 FM. Greatest radio team in history, Skip Murphy and Company. Nanette Lee, Skip Murphy, Sam Putney, The Wig. and Chris Arnold on sports. Greatest team in radio history to me. I put them slightly above Tom Joyner. Back when Tom discussed black issues. Tom used to own his own thing. Then he sold it to buy his friend a Rolls Royce. Stupid. Blacks currently own 168 of the 10,300 commercial AM and FM radio stations in the U.S. And these stations are concentrated in the southern region of the country and are distributed among 30 states. Stevie Wonder used to own a radio station. Don't know if he still does. Of course, you know James Brown owned a station. You have Radio 1 with Miss Hughes over there. How many black-owned TV stations do you think there are in America? Black-owned. There are only 10. So out of over 10,000 AM FM radio stations, there are only 168. And out of all the television stations in America, there are only 10 black-owned, and I couldn't tell you those. BET sold for $3 billion to Viacom because they wanted a black audience but didn't want to build one from scratch. Now, Bob Johnson owns the best NBA team, the Charlotte Bobcats. Named it the Bobcats because his name is Bob. Get it? Get it? Oprah Winfrey no longer owns the OWN channel. It's owned by Discovery Communications, LLC subsidiary. What about Jet and Ebony magazine? In 2016, Johnson Publishing sold Jet and his sister publication Ebony magazine to private equity firm Clearview Group. As of the date of this sale in 2016, the publishing company is known as Ebony Media Corporation. I told you about K104 here in Dallas and Fort Worth. It's owned by a Jewish guy named Jaime. You know? KKDA-FM, known as K104, has been a leading radio station in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex for 46 years. It is a longtime heritage urban contemporary formatted station. It broadcasts on 104.5, and it is owned by Service Broadcasting Corporation, along with its sister station, 105.3 KRNB. We don't own anything. Therefore, we don't get to tell our story. I was explaining to a guy on the bus. He was saying, well, what about black-on-black crime? Well, again, everyone else has crime as well. But since you do not have a media outlet to tell your story, to give your narrative, they tell your story. And what is your story? It's that the black guy is always the villain. That's why Will Smith set us back with what he did with Chris Rock. Here comes the black-on-black crime thing again. Everyone has crime in their community. But because the Hispanics have their own channel, because the Asians have their own channel. I used to work for a Russian Jewish guy. Went out to his house one day. He's from New York, Raphael. And on his television was Russian news. Everyone has their own but us, but they kept us out. Let's not get it twisted. White folk kept us out. We couldn't own anything. So they have a 400-year head start on anything we would be trying to do. And it's sad. We don't own anything. Again, Roland Martin jumps up here, call himself media. You ain't media, Roland. You just here for them folk. Roland Martin does not get up here and discuss black issues. Roland Martin gets up here to push you to vote Democrat. And that's it. To vote Democrat. Roland don't give a damn about reparations, which we're going to cover here shortly in the program. Roland just here stomping for you as a black person to vote Democrat so he can get a job at CNN, MSNBC, Fox News. You notice that everywhere Roland Martin has been has failed. It's no longer in business. I don't give a damn what show Roland had or what publication Roland Martin wrote for. Joy Reid and people like her. When you see black people on TV, you need to ask yourself, who are your people? That means, where are you from? Where is your 3-time, 5-time great-grandparents buried at? Roland's people are from Haiti. And when they was beating the crap out of them Haitians down there at the border, where was Roland for his people? Joy Reid's from Ghana. And you notice how they always get on TV and talk about black people. Stephen A. Smith is of Caribbean heritage. These people aren't us. All skin folk ain't kinfolk. We have no media because these people have kept us out. Now, you have, what's his name, Byron, who owns the Weather Channel. They tried to get him to buy it. Byron Allen. He started young in the game. I think his mom was into TV broadcasting. And that's how he got started as a kid. That's how he knows what's going on out here in the world. Byron Allen's from Detroit, Michigan. Comedian, television producer, philanthropist. Owns the Weather Channel. He acquired that from NBC Universal. He owns a few other things. But there is no black media. Again, where are the groups in our music? Everything we own has been snatched over by someone else. Rap music. Listen to the crap rap music has become. My generation invented rap music. Baby boomers. And look at the mess it has become. You remember back in the 80s, those of you of a certain age, Queen Latifah, Heavy D and them, rap music used to be party music. Then we became race conscious. And that's when we start scaring the white folks. Tribe Called Quest. Then NWA comes in with the gangster rap. Then it's devolved into the mumble rap, and even the people, like I told you on last week's show, wait till you see my Joe Louis, Snapchat me that Panani, let me put my Joe Louis on your forehead. These people aren't us. Cardi B isn't ADOS, American Descendants of Slavery. Or FBA, as Tariq Nasheed calls them, Foundational Black Americans. But they put these people out front and then they say, well, that's black people. These people aren't us. We don't own any kind of media.
Tune in every week on Friday at 10 a.m. for the Shackle 41 and the main event. Only on the new PushGapRadio.com.